Hi, I am Councilman-Elect Ramon Hache, and I'm standing here at the site of the future Hudson Street parking deck. There's a very important election coming up on June 21st. It will be a binding referendum regarding the funding for $11.5 million bond to finance this project. There's been a lot of speculation, a lot of misinformation being circulated, but I want you to be as well informed as possible to understand what the significance of this vote and all the factors that are relevant to this issue. Now I'm standing in front of the Brogan Cadillac site, and this is one of the sites that has been approved for multifamily housing. Now the density for the site originally was proposed at 12 units per acre. The current council voted about triple the amount, 35 units per acre. And this is one of the main reasons why there has been such a push for a larger parking structure on Hudson Street. And while the deck on Hudson Street will help satisfy the parking needs of commuters and patrons in the shops and restaurants near Hudson Street, it really doesn't satisfy the overall needs of the rest of the CBD, which is why it's important for us to look at a comprehensive plan that will open up more parking throughout the CBD. We have a parking distribution problem in Ridgewood, not necessarily a parking deck problem. Another reason why a comprehensive parking solution is so crucial for town is that there's an important public safety component of this as well. And that relates to a lot of the patrons that frequent our stores and restaurants are not necessarily Ridgewood residents. And when you walk around the central business district, you'll realize that there isn't very good signage directing people of where to park. So for example, if you're driving into town, you see a lot of people driving around looking for parking. There's very poor signage directing people of where to park. If you look at, for example, here, where I'm standing on the corner of Prospect and East Ridgewood Avenue, there's a very faded sign directing people to park towards the right, but you can't see it because it's old and faded. And when we talk about a comprehensive parking solution, we don't necessarily have to reinvent the wheel. It really means looking at very simple solutions that don't cost taxpayers very much money. One of the simplest ones that we find is the angled on-street parking like we have here on Oak Street. And a lot of the streets in Ridgewood have the traditional sort of bumper-to-bumper parking. And by looking at other streets where we can add this angled parking, we could probably add anywhere between 70 to 100 additional spots throughout the CBD, not just in one area. And one of the other things that we need to do, we need to work with our merchants at coming together, working on a plan on getting the merchants to park off-street. We have plenty of lots in town that at peak times during the day, as some of the traffic studies have shown, are actually half full. And we need to do our part in terms of parking enforcement. Simple measures such as marking the tires as we used to do, which we haven't done in a while. And we also need to expand the capabilities of the Park mobile app to help us with the enforcement. Now in terms of existing locations for merchants to park, there's one right here on Cottage Place. It's behind the Board of Ed. That lot at peak times during the day is about 50% full. There's also additional space that we can look at, which I'm going to take you to look at now, is the Zabriskie lot. It's behind the movie theater, behind some of the shops here off East Ridgewood Avenue. This lot almost runs the entire width of the block between Dayton and East Ridgewood Avenue. Now, we don't own this lot. This is not municipal property, but if we can come into a leasing agreement for this lot, and we can have the surface redone, and we can have the spots relined, we could potentially pick up an additional 75 to 100 parking spaces for the downtown area. Another potential option is the existing site of the town garage. Now, we don't own this property. We would have to take over the property, and there will be necessary remediation, which we should be doing anyway. But this is adjacent to an existing municipal lot, and if we can reline and connect the two, and we can reline the spaces on both lots, we can potentially add another 50 to 60 spots for the downtown area. So whether you're for or against the referendum on June 21st, just please, what's important is that you're well informed in making that decision and take into consideration all the different relevant factors. Thank you very much for your time.